I recall staying up until somewhere between 9 in the morning and 7 in the morning. From 7 in the morning to 9 in the morning. And I woke up around 1:15, 1:30 p.m. This is one of the bowls that I got for me at CoreLife. I believe this is the sriracha ginger tofu with quinoa bowl. I picked it out because the menu at CoreLife said that a large bowl like this is only 290 calories. The other bowl that I got for myself it was the barbecue Korean pork bowl. The line was relatively shorter this time around than the last time we went there. Getting bowls at CoreLife, it comes with this free bread. I had the barbecue Korean pork bowl with the fire sauce. Which is the spiciest sauce available at CoreLife. Even so, it didn't seem that spicy to me. I think the large bowl for the barbecue Korean pork was around 500 calories. And it came with a fried egg. This bread is pretty good. I had the barbecue Korean pork bowl at around 5:30 p.m. At the same time, Mom had her usual, the Southwest chicken bowl. I believe Mom got, most likely based off the color, raspberry in this case, she most likely got the beet lemonade. I think I initially considered that, but then I decided to get the green tea, fill my plastic cup up with that, since it's 0 calorie and has 0 sugar. Unlike the beet lemonade. Plus, the green tea comes with some mint and I think, from what I can recall, Cicero something. I assume it's something fruity. Around 4 p.m., I had what was left over of that pad thai meal Mom made the other day. Mixed what was left of the diced peanuts into it, along with some sriracha sauce. I microwaved the leftovers for 2 minutes, and then afterwards, that's when I mixed in the peanuts and sriracha. Yeah, that's around the time I called Dad. I called him shortly after I woke up. As he told me to call him when I woke up. When I called him at 6:10 in the morning, which is the time he usually gets up on work days. As a mailman. In the early morning hours, I ate some of the gold cake that Mom got, I believe Mom got for her mom on Mother's Day. I don't recall Grandma wanting much of that cake, so there was plenty left, and we had to bring it back home. I just did that because I don't want that gold cake, which I think is some kind of fancy vanilla cake in actuality. It's a bit stale, but I don't want it to go to waste. I ate it straight with a fork right out of the container and without cutting it. Without slicing it, I should say. And then around that same time, I had most of those Man Crates beef jerky wet strips, all except one that were packaged inside a candy cane shaped container. So when I saw that on Christmas, I naturally assumed that it was going to be full of chocolate. Or otherwise some kind of candy. And needless to say, I was shocked, but the beef jerky is still good after all this time, despite being pretty damp. Maybe it has something to do with the flavoring. Within the first hours of today, I also worked on the Marine. Though past that point, I didn't really work on it. I think it was somewhere between 4:30 p.m. and 5 p.m. that Mom and I decided to go to CoreLife. She had had a long day at work and didn't feel like cooking anything or going to Wegmans for grocery shopping. So it was decided that we would get some takeout. She suggested pizza from Mark's Pizzeria. I suggested a party tray from technically a local Americanized Chinese restaurant. Though it is still a ways away. I wasn't really in the mood for getting pizza from Mark's Pizzeria. Maybe I'll do that next time. Mom wasn't in the mood to get anything from Americanized Chinese restaurant. It's called Golden Pond. Yeah, that daily challenge in hindsight wasn't that tough. I just recall having to complete capturing one sector on the campaign map, which I did through combat. And I'm slowly conquering that empire. So a choice was given between going to Panera Bread or going to CoreLife. I was tempted to go to Panera Bread briefly before deciding it would be better to go to CoreLife since their food is both cheaper and healthier, but what made the decision is that it's healthier. Healthier food ultimately makes it easier in the long run to do what you want to do. late today after having a piece of bread and that barbecue Korean bowl, pork. I did some work on the 99th Dan Hamming episode. It involved going on Rapper offline in order to generate text-to-speech lines for the Caucasian male of the trio, who uses, of which I've assigned the designer Dave text-to-speech voice to. I took this complimentary spoon from CoreLife. I figure that it's reusable. You can use it just as if you had bought a traditional metal spoon. It's plant-based. And it works pretty well. And by the time I finished that late lunch, I felt somewhat full. It was quite a bit to eat. And combined with that green tea beverage, it was quite the meal. It was initially planned that today Dad would take me out driving and out to eat afterward in the morning hours, but I was asleep during the morning hours. From about 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m., around 4 p.m. when I called Dad back, I thought he would take me out driving and out to eat anyway, since there were thoughts of going to Salvatore's and they're open throughout the evening hours. But it turns out that was only really planned for the morning hours, which I was asleep for. We were going to go driving, and then most likely to a diner. Dad finally made a successful bid on a house. And he'll be able to move in there, the new house, within the coming months. It's all a good time for Dad. I'm glad for him that he finally got what he wanted to look for. At some point today, I also successfully activated this research technology. So now I have all the buildings I need for the halfling settlement. And this is what it looks like so far. In the Congregate game, Burrito Bison, Launcher Libre. For unlocking 2 of those recipes, the one for the slightly sweet salsa and then for the rustic guacamole, I unlocked a new encounter called the Cookinator, in which if you hit his rocket, it starts a mini game in which he throws tomatoes at you. It took me some attempts to get it down, but I initially thought it was like that worm gummy, Dr. Wormageddon, in which you click and hold in order to go down. Kind of like how you click to go up in Flappy Bird. Though I only heard of that game, I barely played it at all. And even then, I think it was an emulation of that game. I never downloaded the original app. But no, you're supposed to... It's kind of more like a rhythm game. You gotta click at the right time, right before a tomato reaches the bowl face on the front of the rocket. So you can eat the tomatoes instead of being hit by them. And if you either get hit by a tomato or it seems click too soon, then the minigame ends and you end up crashing to the ground. That seems to be how it's like. Ooh, I know what to do. Believe I already have this one. Yeah, that worked out greatly. I initially considered letting this day pass me by. I'm glad I didn't. That makes it much more likely I'll be able to get this evolvable building up to its maximum level of 10. And then, when I hit the Rift multiplier cap of 8, I unwrapped my candies and time traveled in the game. So this, in a way, this Burrito Bison game has mechanics that you typically see in incremental or idle games. Right before I time traveled, I played through stopwatch mode, reached level 4, over multiple runs. It wasn't exactly necessary to go farther in the time you're given and that you can earn. Just to basically keep making runs on stopwatch mode. And when I time traveled, I also gained a new ability to use rocket slams in order to make explosions that help me break through the giant cake walls. Which are only a great concern pre-Rift. Which is where I'm at currently. The upgrade I unlocked upon reaching level 4 of stopwatch mode is one to make the gummies run faster and thus make them easier to target at high speed. Which comes in handy, or at least should, and once you get to the Rift. Of this game, which comes upon defeating the Cookinator originally during the initial encounter, within a run. The ability to use rocket slams to make explosions inside of the giant cake walls. Well, it's nice that it can give you a final extra boost if you get stuck within the cake wall. It's also bad in that it's possible to waste rocket slams within open areas of the giant cake walls from previous launches if you're not careful. So, some good, some bad, but ultimately it's better to have it than to not have it, the way I see it currently.